Today I'm going to read from a poet called Michael Field, a late Victorian poet associated with the Decadent movement. And Michael Field is a pseudonym for two women poets, Edith Cooper and Catherine Bradley, who were in a romantic relationship and wrote poetry together. So today I'm going to read two short poems, Cyclamens and Irises. Cyclamens. They are terribly white. There is snow on the ground, and a moon on the snow at night. The sky is cut by the winter light. Yet I, who have all these things in ken, am struck to the heart by the chiselled white of this handful of cyclamen. So the poet describes the cyclamens in the first line and then immediately undercuts herself. So the cyclamens are terribly white. But why terrible? Because there are all kinds of whiteness around her, and the imagery accumulates from ground to snow, from snow to moon, from moon to sky, piling up whiteness as if heaping snowdrifts. And that word yet signals a surprise that the poet, who believes herself accustomed to all these different kinds of whiteness, whose vision holds everything in her sight, in her ken, is still struck to the heart. And the language here leans towards violence, terrible, struck, chiselled, as if her heart is made from stone and the shock of the cyclamen's whiteness shatters her bodily experience. So the poem enacts the potential for beauty to act as rupture, to renew perception, to rewrite the fixed habits of the heart. Irises. In a vase of gold and scarlet, how cold the flicker of wrinkled greys in this iris sheath. My eyes fill with wonder at the tossed, moist light, at the withered scales under and among the uncertain sprays. The wavings of white on the cloudy light, and the finger marks of pearl, the facets of crystal, the golden feather, the way that the petals fold over together, the way that the buds unfurl. So in the opening lines, the irises seem unappealing, cold and wrinkled, when contrasted with the richness of the gold scarlet vase. But the irises transform in front of us as the poet follows the light and allows her eyes to fill with wonder. And the brilliance of that phrase, tossed, moist light, the repetition of the O and S sounds, requiring the reader to slow down their own utterance. And that word uncertain acts as a pivot in the poem. The irises are withered, yes, but their condition, if uncertain, is unstable, liable to change. Wrinkles become wavings, grey becomes pearl and cloudy light. The golden feathers of the stamen outshine the gold vase, now forgotten. And the poem ends with an exclamation at the way the petals fold over together and the buds unfurl. And those images mirror the poem's own folding and furling, as the rhyme scheme folds together wonder and under, feather and together, but releases us with its own unfurling of pearl and unfurl. And that opening and closing movement of the rhyme draws the reader into the poem's movement through the transformation of the iris. So like cyclamens, irises gives us a poet intensely attentive to the small detail, and a poet who looks twice, who knows that shifting light might recast the ugly into the painfully and ecstatically beautiful. And if we're distracted, we might miss these small moments in time that, if caught, open us up to an expansion of mind and space, of what Walter Pater, an art critic of the period, calls expanding that interval of life which remains to us, and getting as many pulsations as possible into the given time.